Hi guys, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Thank you. Okay, let me introduce myself first. This is Ram. I have 10 plus years experience in IT, and especially I have very good knowledge in multiple platforms and technologies: Linux, VMware, Citrix, cloud platforms of AWS, Microsoft Azure, GCP, and private clouds, as mainly Red Hat OpenStack, and multiple DevOps tools, Docker, Kubernetes, Ansible, and all. I am certified from Red Hat, RHCSA, and RHCA, and RHCA, Red Hat Certified Engineer, and also VMware Citrix certifications, AWS and Microsoft Azure certifications. Okay, what is this program? This program is completely Docker with Kubernetes. Docker with Kubernetes. So I will take totally in this program two parts. Part one, which is called what Docker. So how to managing containers, how you will migrate containerized applications, how to access the what application from the outside. So totally 2 weeks lectures, we will focus on Docker only, Docker networking and Docker compose, Docker volumes, Docker file and containers. So everything we will discuss. Once Docker is completed, then based on the Docker, how Kubernetes are working. So that is meaning of Kubernetes workloads. How to managing Kubernetes workloads. What is the use of Kubernetes? Kubernetes will manage container workloads. So Docker provides containers. Docker provides containers. Those containers workloads we will manage by using Kubernetes cluster. So ultimately, your applications will manage from the Kubernetes only. But Kubernetes prerequisites Docker. So that's why past 2 weeks I will explain Docker. Then I will teach you what about Kubernetes. So overall, minimum the duration of this course, minimum 4 weeks and maximum 5 weeks. And now the fee structure just only 8K. So the Docker with Kubernetes fee structure 8K only. But already who are enrolled, so those people no need to again pay for the Docker and Kubernetes, but only the new people who are completely new for this session, those people must be registered with 8K Docker with Kubernetes. And the next students will get who are enrolled, those people will get everyday live session, backup videos, materials, and all. So this is the just overview of your program. Do you notice here what is the program details? Is it clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Fine. Right. So first, today, what is the agenda? The first today first session, Docker introduction. The session one, Docker introduction. What about Docker components architecture? And today I will continue Docker installation also. I mean, these two are the what today part. Right. Let me start. First, what is meant by Docker? A Docker is an open source platform tool for developing, shipping, and running applications. Running applications. So currently in the IT industry, applications are running on top of containers only. So what is meant by container? A container is like a bit like a VM, virtual machine. But if you go for VM will occupy a lot of system resources like GBs of RAM and GBs of storage, more core CPUs and everything. But container advantage is it is very lightweight VM, very lightweight image. So it uses less RAM, less CPU, less storage and everything. So this is the reason nowadays almost people to running out applications on the container is based. So especially who are maintaining microservices, who are maintaining open source tools, all are deploying on top of the Docker and Kubernetes. So these are the tools not designed for admin. Even one developer, one tester, one network engineer, one database engineer, one DevOps engineer, one cloud engineer. So this process is mandatory nowadays. Everyone to learn the word Docker and Kubernetes. So what is the Docker? It is a open source platform tool. It is a one tool from open source. Purpose is the what? Developing, shipping, and running applications. It provides the ability to package and run an application in a loosely isolated environment called a container. Called a container. So what is mean by container? See, the terminology is a container. Container is a just think about one EC2 instance, or it is called one VM, right? But container is a bit like a virtual server, but unlike a virtual machine, rather than creating a whole virtual operating system. Okay, what is the purpose of the Docker? Docker for fast, consistent delivery of your applications. So you want to deliver that application consistently, Docker is an excellent solution in the IT market. Responsive deployment and scaling. So you want to deploying application easily and managing applications easily and running application with scaling options. Again, Docker is the good solution. Running more workloads on the same hardware. I mean, on a single hardware, you can manage multiple workloads. You can run the what one Java application, you can run the Tomcat, you can run the Jenkins, you can run the Maven, you can run the what Ansible. Everything is almost possible in the Docker. No need to separately maintain multiple hardwares and multiple servers. Only on a single hardware, you can manage multiple workloads in the industry. That's why by using Docker, people to reduce massive investments in the company. So in the currently in IT industry, Docker Kubernetes are very trending. Even if you go for as a DevOps engineer or as a cloud engineer or any role, the sure question, do you have any idea about Docker and Kubernetes? The reason applications running currently on the platform of Docker with Kubernetes. Okay, the architecture of Docker. I mean, you know, EC2 instances, Microsoft Azure instances, cloud servers, and Linux VMs. Many things are there. But every server, where exactly running? On the hardware, operating hardware is nothing but maybe it is your laptop, just as your laptop is there. Within the laptop, we have a Windows operating system. Maybe it is a Windows 11. In a Windows 11, almost people are installed one hypervisor, myself, VMware Workstation, Oracle VirtualBox. Those are the what hypervisors. Within the hypervisor, just to create virtual servers. So everyone knows this is my VMware Workstation. In the VMware Workstation, like VMs are there. But every VM occupied GBs of storage, GBs of RAM, and cores of CPU for the application level. Okay, but in that case, lot of resources are wastage, and also every application will use libraries, dependencies, operating system, and much more is required for running the VM. So that's why compared to VM, nowadays the same applications people are running on the platform of Docker. The same structure, instead of this hypervisor, we can install the what Docker software. On the Docker software, you can create a container. But this terminology is a VM. Our cloud platform terminology is an instance. But Docker terminology is called container. A container is a one application like. So you can make it multiple containers along with application. But that container includes application, libraries, and dependencies. So you want to manage these containers, no need GBs of RAM, no need GBs of storage. Even the CPU utilization also very less. On a one lightweight, one running process, which is called what container. Within the container, your required application is running. So with the high performance and a low utilization process and memory and everything. That's why containers are very trending in the market. So this is the comparison between VM and the container. Now, theoretically, what is meant by VM? A virtual machine is an emulation of a physical computer. The meaning is one computer within a computer is nothing but virtual computer. But every VM interact with physical computers by using lightweight software's layers called hypervisors. Hypervisors can separate VMs from one another and allocated process, memory, and storage and among them. If you create multiple VMs, each VM occupied more memory, more CPU, more storage. This is the first VM occupied more resources. This is the second VM occupied more resources. But if you talk about containers, containers are a lightweight, more agile way of handling virtualization since they do not use a hypervisor. Containers use a form of operating system virtualization. So containers will manage internally a virtualization. Each container contains only the application and its libraries and dependencies. No need any operating system. That's why these are very lightweight. Containers are also ideal for automation and DevOps pipelines, including CI/CD implementation. So nowadays, as a DevOps engineer, why Docker and Kubernetes are important? The reason they will use under the CI/CD process and containerization where everyone Docker and Kubernetes. Don't confuse a container also like a VM, but it is very lightweight. Okay, we are talking about what is the Docker architecture. So this is the word Docker architecture. In the Docker architecture, okay, in the Docker architecture, the advantage is what about Docker client, what about Docker host, and what about Docker register. So Docker client is a like Docker CLI. You want to create a container, you want to run a container, then you can give the input from the Docker client, like Docker build, Docker pull, Docker run. So these are all of the what commands from the Docker client only. And what about Docker host? Docker host is a Docker host is a Docker daemon, like your images, your containers, all are running on the what? Docker host system only. I mean, we're to installing the Docker software, which is called what? Docker host. For example, this is my laptop. If I install any Docker software in my laptop, then my laptop is a Docker host or Docker daemon. Don't confuse. My laptop will maintain containers, images, and everything. That is the meaning of Docker host. Then what about Docker registry? Docker registry is a one Docker hub. It is a centralized repository which will maintain Docker images. I mean, you want to download any Linux image, Nginx image, Tomcat server, or Jenkins server, or any web server, then where is the images? The images are available under the Docker registry. Somebody is calling Docker Hub. Some people are calling Docker registry. So how it's working exactly? If the user requests to Docker host, I want a Docker one server, one container. Then client will give the what request to the Docker host. So Docker host will directly fetching the what Docker registry for the Docker images. Once that requested image is available in the Docker registry, it will download and create a container. So then that container is maintained by Docker host. Then who will operate, who will manage the request from the Docker client, and everything is managed by Docker host. So this is the what simple architecture about Docker. Now let me explain. Docker uses a client server architecture. A client server architecture. The Docker client talks to the Docker daemon. I mean, this Docker client talks to Docker host, which does the heavy lifting of building, running, and distributing your Docker containers. Because Docker host only to lifting of building, running, and distributing your containers. Ultimately, Docker host is playing main role. And the Docker client and the daemon, these two can run on the same system. I mean, very few cases, the Docker client will install on the separate system, and a Docker host software we can install on the what separate system. But 99% both are running on the what same system. You can install Docker host and Docker client, both are in the same system. Or you can connect a Docker client to a server Docker daemon. Okay, so this is the what simple Docker architecture. And then next, what are the components you can understand? First, what I told you, Docker daemon or Docker host. The Docker daemon listens for Docker API requests and manages Docker objects such as an images, containers, networks, and volumes. So the Docker host completely maintain images, containers, networks, storage volumes, and everything. That's why Docker host is the main component. And what about Docker client? The Docker client is the primary way that many Docker users interact with Docker. I mean, the client to interact with what? Docker host. This is the what? Second component. And what about Docker registries? I told you already. This is the Docker registry or Docker hub. What is the responsibility of the Docker registry and Docker hub? It is a registry stores Docker images. I mean, your Linux, Windows, and Nginx web servers are all images are available in the Docker registry. People are calling Docker hub also. It is a public registry that anyone can use, and Docker is confirmed to look for images on Docker Hub by default. So by default, Docker engine will communicate Docker registry only. From the registry, it will download the images and creating container. That is the concept. But under the Docker architecture components, the two major important components every day we are working on: images and containers. Images and containers. What is mean by image? An image is a read-only template. An image is a read-only template with instructions for creating a Docker container. So in AWS, Azure, already many people idea about AMIs or images. What is meant by AMI or image? It is a pre-configured template. Those templates includes operating system plus some additional software. So it is an executable package. Image is a what? One executable package that includes application code, runtime, libraries, environment variables, configuration files. Everything is included in the Docker images. So overall, image is a read-only copy. We cannot write once image is created. What about containers? A container is a runnable instance of an image. Runnable instance of an image. So overall, a container creates from the image only. So you can create, start, stop, move, or delete a container using the Docker API or CLI. So ultimately, you will manage the what applications on top of the what container only. What is the container? It is a one runnable instance of the image. What is the image? It is a pre-configured template. So what is the relation between image and container? It is the top interview question. Same in the AWS. What is the relation between AMI and EC2 instance? What is the relation between AMI and EC2? AMI is a pre-configured image. From that image to make the instances. Same way here, images are the what? Just read-only templates. From the template, we will make the what container. I think you got the clarity about Docker architecture components. Are you clear? What is the Docker architecture, guys?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any queries on this architecture?
Sir, whenever we request any command from Docker client, it goes to Docker daemon directly.
Yes. So because it will talk over the API. The
After
request
registry,
always,
again it will go to Docker daemon or it will go to containers or images, sir.
sorry?
Sir, first we'll request command, right? From Docker client to Docker daemon, it will go. After daemon to registry, it will go. Again, it will return to Docker daemon or Docker images or container.
Docker daemon only. That means Docker daemon is a service. When the service is running, then only it will work. So always the request goes to Docker daemon only. So the based on the request, for example, your request is the what to download the image. Okay, the request is to download the image. So first time, the Docker host responsibility is the what? It will fetch the image from the Docker registry. Always Docker host will communicate the what Docker registry only. So the requested image is available here. It will download the what image from the registry to Docker host system. Got my point? Then you can give what another request. What is the request? To create a container from the image. But already the image is available here. So directly it will create a container here only.
Yeah. Whatever the image got from registry, it will not go to Docker daemon. Like it will, Docker daemon is just a service. Images will be storing in Docker host.
Correct.
Okay. What is the responsibilities of Docker domain, Docker daemon? Just sending request to registry?
It is a service. I mean, after installing software, for example, What is the responsibility of the HTTP?
Protocol. Yeah.
Protocol, like it is a service. I mean,
Okay.
it will pass the what request from you to web server.
Mm-hmm.
Correct or not?
Yes.
So this is the one Linux system. How Linux system knows it is a download or container images or anything? When the software
Yeah.
Docker is installed, then only Docker daemon is available. Docker daemon is nothing but Docker software, Docker service.
Yeah.
Or people are calling Docker engine.
Docker daemon also Docker engine.
Ah, right.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Fine. Now I'm going to install Docker software on AWS EC2 instance. Remember, who knows cloud platform? Who knows Azure? Who knows or at least one Linux software? So this Docker installation is same on everything. The process is same. So somebody is installing Docker on AWS, somebody is installing Docker on Azure, somebody is installing Docker on GCP cloud. Anywhere you can take it, but from the any cloud, ultimately Linux only required. In the real time, never run Docker and Kubernetes on Windows platforms because these are the open source and these containers are very well on top of the Linux. Then only you will manage multiple workloads and complex workloads on the what containers. So don't prefer any Windows operating system. But even sometimes Docker desktop also is there for managing the what containers. But it is very bad idea. So that is only development platform. But always Docker will be running on Linux servers only. You have any one Linux server, we can install the what Docker. But now I'm going to installing Docker on AWS EC2 instance Linux. You can install the same Docker in your Linux systems. Anywhere, no issue. Okay, myself, I'm going to installing Docker on AWS. This is my AWS account. Under account, EC2 is the service providing virtual servers. In the EC2, instances are there. And now launch instances is the option. So very simple steps. I will tell you how to creating the what instance. So this is optional, guys. What I'm saying, in your system, Linux system is there, Linux server is there, we can install directly Docker. This process is no need. But I am installing Docker on cloud servers. Okay. So now, what is the first server name? I'm going to keep, this is the word Docker system, Docker server, for example. So any one Linux server will take it. Amazon server, Ubuntu server, Red Hat server, SUSE Linux server, or Debian server. Anything, it's okay. It's supported for all Linux platforms. And now I'm going to take the what Linux server. And the next one is under the instance type, you can select the what how much RAM, how much CPUs are required. So AWS offers 2 CPU, 1 GB RAM of T3.micro. It is completely free. Or you can take the what T3 dot small instances like 2 CPUs and 2 GB RAM. So I'm going to take minimum 2 CPU and 2 GB RAM. The reason for Linux 2 CPU, 2 GB RAM is okay. But in the future, I will create more containers in the same system. At the time, containers will use these resources. So that's why better to take 2 CPU and 2 GB RAM. But even free tier also it is okay. But I'm going to take the what 2 CPU and 2 GB RAM. And the next, for connecting instances, already I have a key pair. The key pair name is ROM. So now I want to connect the server by using the what key pair. And now you can take the what security group. The security group name is just my security group, or it is called what Docker security group. But security group like act as a firewalls. Those firewalls should be protect your instances. But what is the storage of the Docker? I mean, for Docker, minimum 8 GB is sufficient, but I'm going to take the word 10 GB for the Docker. Okay, additional 2 GB is added. So now this server will be run with 10 GB storage. Create launch instance. Fine. So now our server Linux is ready in the platform of AWS.
That security group is your security group, or it is will be default
You can
security?
create any default security group, but already I have created, that's why I have selected existing one. Otherwise, you
Okay.
can create your new security group.
Sir, in that security group, what are all you have enabled? Like
22 port
HTTP?
number only. Only 22 is sufficient.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Now, just select the what instance and how to connect the server. Collect instance public IP address, and then you can use to connect mobile extern, Windows PowerShell, Putty, or anything you can use it for connecting the server. So myself, under the session, SSH, copy the public IP address, and username EC2 user is the default. Now, how to load the what key pair for connecting server? This is okay, my key pair name, and okay. See, I have successfully connected my EC2 Linux instance. See this, what I'm saying here, I have created one server on the cloud platform and connected the what same server from the Windows tool. This process is not mandatory. In your system, any Linux server is there, just open the what Linux server like this. You can completely ignore these steps. But you want to install the what Docker on the cloud servers, this process is mandatory. Okay. Now, my server Linux server is ready. On top of this Linux server, I want to install the what Docker. But currently, this is the Linux server only. But after installing Docker, then we will call this is the Docker daemon or Docker host system or Docker engine system. When the software is installed, then we are calling it Docker daemon or Docker host. Fine. But how do you know this Docker system host name? Currently, this Docker is only IP172 something like. I mean, this is the name of the current server. But my understand to change the host name of the Docker. I mean, how can I identify this is the Docker system? That's why host name space, I'm going to keep this is the what? Docker. Then what happened? My computer name successfully updated. Check it now. This is the Docker. But how to update this host name permanently? We can use the file name called /etc / host name is the file name. Within the file, under etc host name file, you can update the what? Docker is a name. Just open this file and instead of this, just update the what name of the Docker. Then okay, save the file, and now update the command, simple command called bash. If you run the what bash command, say this, now your systems got successfully updated the name of the computer Docker. Now you guys are easily to understand this is the Docker server or this is the Docker host. So this is the way how to change the what computer host name. Just host name is for identification. When the multiple servers are there, how you will be identified? This is the Docker or Kubernetes server or Ansible server, Jenkins server. So this is the way how to change the what computer host name. But Windows people, how to change the computer host name? Just right click on the My Computer, Properties. Under the Property section, we have option called here rename the computer. So currently my computer name Ramu Ganga. So rename this PC. So then just take the what rename. What is the computer name? You can add it and next it and save it. But Linux users, how to change the this is the process. Simple thing. Okay. Now I want to first update a server. In the Linux, what is the command to update a server? DNF is the command. Then update -y. This is the command. You can update it. So Linux servers means just DNF is the command to update. For as
What is the
usual,
full form of DNF? What is the full form of DNF?
dandified model.
Pardon?
Dandified, DAND.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So now But instead of DNF, we can use the what YUM also. Actually, YUM is the, everyone knows YUM only. YUM means Yellow Dog
Package
Update
manager.
Modifier. Yellow Dog Update Modifier.
Yum
But
is a package
instead,
manager also.
that is the package management. M is the package management tool. But instead of M, we are currently using DNF. Okay, why M means maybe in the future M will be deprecated. M will be replaced with DNF. Do you notice? M advanced tool is the what? DNF. Do you notice? You can run the what? Same command YUM also. See, same output, same thing. But instead of M, I'm going to use the what? DNF. Remember. Now, I want to install some packages. DNF install. Like from editor purpose, VIM. For downloading some packages, wget. For checking the IP address, NetTools is the package. So everyone can install these three tools in the Linux servers. But already many servers are running. These are the what default. But better to run this command in case not installed already, it will install it. Okay. So now the server is ready. Linux server is ready. Then next requirement is, sir, how to installing Docker? So you don't know what are the steps. For example, Docker version, the command not found. Currently, we have not installed any Docker here. Then how to installing the Docker? In the official web page, just people to search Docker install. In the Google, just search the word Docker install. So install Docker engine here. Okay, just click on the word install Docker engine. Docker engine. Right. So where to installing this Docker? See, installation procedure for different Linux platforms. Are you using CentOS? Are you using Debian? Are you using Fedora? Are you using Red Hat? Are you using Ubuntu or any binaries? So in the left side, see this. For example, your server is Ubuntu. Just click on the Ubuntu and run the what? These are the what installation steps. Maybe your server should be 26 edition or 25 edition, 24 edition, and 22. These are mandatory. Anyone you can take it. And under the server, first step is the what? Any already Docker softwares are installed, you can remove it. And the second step is you can set the what? Execute these commands of the repository. See, just copy the what each and every command and execute. Finally, what is the command to install? This is the command to install the what? Docker. This is the first step. This is the second step. And start the what? Docker. These are the steps you can follow in the what? Ubuntu. Maybe you are using Red Hat server. So Red Hat supports 8 version, 9 version, 10. Currently Red Hat 10. Any one OS you can take. What are the steps? As usual, first install the what? Plugins package and set the what repository. See, Red Hat also follows what command? DNF. But everyone knows YUM only. But now why instead of YUM, DNF. DNF is a advanced tool. So for package management tool. Then what is the command to install? DNF install Docker. So these are the what commands. And who are following Fedora systems? Fedora distributors. Then these are the steps to installing Fedora Linux operating system. But our OS is Red Hat, Amazon Linux. How do you know? You can use cat space /etc. Just use the word release. What is the version of this? This is the word Amazon Linux 2023 OS. This is completely designed based on the what Red Hat server. But who is the vendor of this Amazon Linux? Amazon only. But this Linux is open source. So Amazon people has been designed one Linux server based on the what see Fedora Red Hat based operating system. That's why Fedora, Linux, CentOS, Red Hat, all commands are same even on the what Amazon Linux also. But I know the commands how to installing the what our Docker software on the Amazon Linux. I'm going to single step to execute how to installing the what Docker. Just run the command dnf install Docker is the command. Only single command we can install it. dnf install Docker. If I enter, now Docker is being to install now. Now Docker is installing. Okay, the Docker software successfully installed in my Docker host. Now this is the word Docker host because Docker software is installed. That's why this is the word Docker host. So previously command not found. Now in the Docker version, see this, the client 25.0.14 is the successfully installed. And by default, the Docker engine is not started. See this, is the Docker daemon running? Currently, Docker daemon is not running. Just install the what software only. Then how do you know that it's running or not? You can use systemctl status. Then it is called what Docker is the command. I mean, this is the what engine name, service name, and I want to verify the service is running or not by using systemctl command. What is the use of systemctl? It is a command to start, to stop, to check the status of the service. Okay, I want to know Docker is running or not. So currently, Docker is inactive mode. Docker is not running. Right. So then what is the command to start a Docker? So instead of status, we can use the command start. This is the command to start the Docker. So systemctl start Docker. Now enter. Now Docker is started. How do you know? Again, we can verify the status. Now this time, Docker is active. I mean, engine is running. So currently you are got the what in end of the file. There is no console prompt like this. You want to get this console prompt, press Q to close this status. Q, press Q, Q for quit. Now got the what terminal. Now, how do you know the client and server both are installed or not? In the Docker version, again we can check. So client 25.0.14 and Docker engine, I mean it is a server, also run. So both are installed in the same system. So this is the simple command, how to installing the Docker. You want to know the commands, what are the executed commands? See, this is the step. I have first set the host name, updated the server, and installed the some tools, change the host name, and verify the Docker version. Then install the Docker and started and verified the Docker history. Do you notice what are the commands to execute on the Docker host?
Yes, sir. Sir, can I know why you have given cat etc releases?
So this is the command to check what is our current Linux version. Is this Red Hat or CentOS or Amazon Linux?
Oh, okay, got it.
Right. So now my Docker is currently running. I mean, it is called what? Active state. But remember, if I reboot my server, then again my Docker service is inactive mode. Again, you can run the command after shutdown or start. Docker start is the command. Every time after starting your server, Docker start is the command. Again, we can wake up the word Docker every time. But sir, at the time of system reboot or at the time of system up, I want to activate the word Docker service automatically. No need to every time to start the Docker. Then what is the command is required, which is called what? Enable option. What is the systemctl enable Docker? It will activate your service persistently. To make service persistently, if I run this command, Now your service is activated. Now onwards, if you stop your server, I mean Linux server, again you can start it. Docker automatically will start the service. So that's why everyone in the company, first they will run the command start only. After start the command, they will run the command enable. These two are the common commands. Then only they will verify the status of the service. So when the status is running mode, no doubt the service ultimately every time it should be running state. Do you notice what are the commands to executing Docker and everything? Docker commands. Guys, is it clear how to installing Docker?
Yes, sir.
See, what is the difference between Docker, start Docker and enable Docker? Start Docker means it start the Docker that application. And what is the use for enable Docker?
Docker start means to start the service. I mean
Okay.
temporarily started. I mean service is started, it's running, you are working. But after finishing your work, you will stop, you shut down your laptop, correct?
Okay.
Again in the next day, you are started your Linux server. At that time, again to run this command manually, because by default Docker service is inactive mode. After shutdown and again to restart. Then what is the command to enable your service automatically? That is systemctl enable Docker. So no need to run every time this command to start the service. This command will be automatically activate your Docker service, even stopping and starting. That's
Okay,
why
but
this
see,
command is.
but my VM is running. My VM is continue running. I have not
Your VM is
stopped my VM.
continuously running. No need this service. Your VM is stopped one day. Then again you started. What to do?
Okay, 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 okay. In that case, that Docker will stop.
Yes. That case, how Docker will automatically enable means this is the command.
Okay.
No need to run every time this command. Once this command is executed, automatically this service is enabled at the time of booting.
Okay.
Right. Right. So now our Docker server is ready. This is my Docker host. Remember, where is my Docker host? My Docker is running on my AWS platform. Okay, this is called what? Now people are calling this is the Docker host. So this Docker host maintain images, containers, and all. But how to managing the images? Where is the images? In the GUI level,
Yes.
you can manage the Docker registry. So this is the open source platform. Anyone can use this. This is completely free. In the Docker registry, all official images are there. Which image you want? Sir, I want to run the web server. That's why I need the NGINX server is required. So NGINX image is this is. So this is the GUI method. If you click on the NGINX, what are the commands to download the image from the Docker? So people are maintaining some commands from the NGINX. So now this is the GUI method. How to download the images? But sir, I don't have any GUI access. I have only command line access in the real time. Then how do I know that particular image is available or not in the Docker registry? We can use the word Docker searcher. Which image you want? I want NGINX. So now this Docker is a command. It sends a request to Docker host. That Docker host will search the images under the Docker registry. This NGINX is there or not? Enter. So with name NGINX, multiple are there. See, the name NGINX is there. The name NGINX ingress is there. The name NGINX Prometheus is there. The name NGINX unit is there. See, multiple people are offering multiple images. But in which image with name NGINX you want? Like, I need this image. Then we can download the image called NGINX. What is the image? What is the download command? Pull is the command to download the image. So now NGINX image is directly downloading from the Docker registry. How do you know that? Docker images is the command. So now the image is ready. So from the image, I want to create a container. Nginx container I require. How to run the container? Again, to give the what request, Docker run is the command. What is the image name? So tomorrow I will tell you in depthly. So Docker run -it, sorry, -it. What is the IT? I will tell you in tomorrow session. But name of the container. Okay, sir, this is the what web server is my container. But this container will create from the image of Nginx. I mean, from the image Nginx, I want to create a one container name called web server. If I enter, container created successfully. But how do you know what are the containers are running? Docker ps is the command. So now currently web server container is running, which is running the what port number 80. 7 seconds ago, your container is created. Now your web server is ready. So you can access this web server over the web browsers. So this is the what just small architecture, like how to download the images, where is the images under the registry. From the registry, you can download the what images. Once image is ready, you can create a what container from the image. So once container is ready, how to access the application, how to, and in future we will discuss how to managing the images, how to managing these containers. In case this web server using more CPU, more RAM, how can you monitor this container? How to install the what additional application and additional commands, how to provide the storage for this container, how to manage the networking for this container, how to maintain multiple applications on the container, how to compose the what applications, not only one. So we will discuss on this Docker command from tomorrow onwards, multiple lectures. So tomorrow I will teach you how to managing Docker images. Then images are concept is completed. I will go for the what Docker containers concept. Once properly you will understand about containers, then I will tell you how to manage in the networking for the container, how to managing storage for the containers, and how to managing the what clusters for the containers. These 4 to 5 weeks lectures, we will discuss completely how to managing the what container. You got it, guys? Did you get my points?
Yes, sir. Sir, while searching images, it is going to search directly in repository. Sometimes images
That is
will be
called
in
what
our.
Docker registry.
Okay. If that same image is present in already we have pulled, right? If I go on search now, it is
No,
going to search.
no. Again, it will use the what current that image from the directly from the Docker host only. Again, if the image is not available here, then only it will connect the what registry.
Register.
Like it is a cache. For example, in the browser, if you give the what request google.com, that google.com web page is already in the cache. Directly the page will be loaded from here. But image is not in the cache, it will connect the what web server first time. Correct or not?
Yeah. Sir,
Same.
can you give a command now like Docker search nginx, like how it is going to show whether it is in local or no?
Sorry, Docker.
Search nginx.
It will search the what again nginx only. I mean that image is available in the what in nginx of the Docker registry.
But you have pulled right today.
Already pulled, but this image is directly searching means what in the not it will not verify the what in the local system. It will verify always in the registry.
Always. Okay, got it. Thank you, sir.
Sir, you are searching, right? You are not using.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay,
Uh,
guys. This is the
excuse me,
what
yeah,
today's
yeah.
session.
Can I ask a question? See,
Hmm.
when we give this command docker search nginx, so it means this docker search this nginx application in Docker Hub repository
Hmm.
registry, Docker Hub
Correct.
registry,
Docker
but,
Hub?
but Docker Hub registry, it is searching this nginx application in Docker Hub registry. Is it?
Correct.
Okay, but see, it is not connected with the Docker Hub registry. So, I mean to say, Docker Hub is the remote access. It is not connected with Docker Hub. So, how does it search in Docker Hub? Docker is
So
different.
that's what while working on the Docker, you must be use the what internet connection. Then Docker ultimately to connect by default Docker is only. If you don't have internet connection, it will not connect the what Docker registry. So then in the real time, people to maintain the what own repositories, that's right. that repositories maintain the what? Lot of images. So Docker will use the what? The image of the Docker own repositories.
Do we need to
But
create Docker Hub
yes, it is
portal?
possible. Everything is possible. See, these images are from the Docker registry only. But real time, what to do? They will use the what own images. I mean, for
Yeah.
example, you are the Java developer. You need to deploying the what one application to over the microservice.
Yes.
But that application is, you know, what is your requirement. Based on your requirement, you can make it your own image.
Yes, sir.
So that is the Docker file concept. 2 days, I will explain completely that kind of project level approach.
Sir, today, do we need to create Docker Hub portal also account?
You can
Or
do
while
it, but one day I will take Docker Hub concept also.
okay. Now you have access. That is the reason it is
It is a
going
it is
there.
a completely free. I'm not signed up. I'm not signed in. It is called what? Just everyone to use the
Free.
what? Docker
Uh-huh.
registry. It is a completely free. If you click on this, here it is asking the what? Who will use? Sign in and sign up. Got it?
Yeah.
Hmm. Right. So tomorrow, this is the first session only, but
Yes, sir.
day by day, you will understand the what completely. No worries. So now I'm going to stop the what? My server. Because every day I will use the what? The same server for the Docker. But at the time of Kubernetes, again, I will tell you how to set up the what? Kubernetes also. Perfect. So tomorrow I will continue the lecture. Thank you guys.
Thank you.